Welcome, everyone, to the MMA Happy Hour podcast. I am Kyle Anthony, your host, where today we are talking UFC Tampa. We've got Joaquin Buckley versus Colby Covington. We're going to be breaking down 4 fights here on the show today. And listen, we are coming off a very profitable evening last weekend at UFC 310. Plus 7 units hit on our 5% max bet, which now we are 14-1 on the year, absolutely dominating, up over 81 units on the year for clients. So another profitable year, locked in the bag. We're keeping that. And we got one more event, and we're just going to dominate. We're going to finish dominating this year. So if you want to become a client, link down in the description. Have plays up right now for you. If you want to become a client, check that out. Now, before we get into the 4 plays here, I first just want to thank everybody who's been following me this year, whether you're following me on Twitter, YouTube, with Wager Talk, you're just watching the videos, or you're interacting with me at some point, whether it's in the comments or whatever it may be. My year-long clients, I want to thank the people who just buy for the pay-per-views, those people. I really want to thank everybody, because it's been an absolutely fantastic year, another profitable year. Evening, yes, last weekend, but profitable year. And want to thank everybody. So I do appreciate that. And with that being said, let's dive into the main event of the evening between Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington. Now, looking at this fight here, you've got Buckley minus 275. The comeback on Covington is plus 225. Now, normally when we're looking at Colby, you know what you're getting here. He's a guy that's going to push forward, endless wrestling, stay on you, utilize that cardio, weaponize that cardio, and really just push the pace for the entire fight overall, and just smother anything that his opponent really offers up. And that's worked out very well for him throughout his career. Now, the issue for me here on the Covington side, and why this line is probably as wide as it is there's multiple reasons. I think the first thing here is the fact that Covington is coming in on short notice. This is a guy that never really wanted to fight on short notice ever. It's something he's openly said. He is doing it here. I think that's a little bit of a red flag, but you also got to add in the fact that, Covington is now 36 years old. He's going to be 37 in February, wrong side of 35 at this particular point. You know what happens after that? Really, it's, things start to decline. It's just father time is undefeated. Cardio starts to go down, skill set starts to go down. Wear and tear is starting to really get to you, whether you're taking the beating, you're giving the beating. There is mileage on you overall, and Covington is definitely starting to enter that. But also a big issue here for me is the fact that he's been inactive. Not a guy that really has been active inside the cage since 2020. He's had 4 fights, which for a guy of his caliber and the name recognition that he has, not being in the cage really that much is, I think, a red flag. Also, the fact he's 2-3 out of his last 5. Yes, fought some good fighters, but still not highly active, and has a losing record over his last few fights overall. And I just think this is the point here where, things really are on the downturn. He got kicked out of American Top Team, his gym. A lot of things just don't sound good for Covington. Now, stylistically speaking, Covington is a guy that's going to look to wrestle, obviously. We know what he's going to be looking to do there. But I do believe that Buckley can keep this fight upright. He's got a 69% takedown defense rate. You got Covington at 44% takedown success rate. I do, think that that's going to be tested absolutely the way that Colby goes out there and pushes that pace. But I think that the physicality and the strength advantage for Buckley is going to be very wide here. Covington, a small guy for the division. You've got Buckley, who's come down in weight. Since he's come down in weight, he's looked like an absolute animal. And he's a guy that I think that is going to be able to defend these takedowns. I think he's going to be able to outmuscle some of these positions where Covington's looking to shoot. I think he can really, push that off and find opportunity to scramble and create the space, get back to range, and be able to strike here. And then if you're looking at a fight that's probably going to or could possibly really play out on the feet, you've got Covington, who does not have good striking, who's got pillow fists for hands, and now you've got someone in front of you like Buckley, who is just extremely explosive, has the power, a guy that can move forward, throw big shots, and that to me really starts to open up opportunities for a big time knockout. Now, you've even got Buckley 4-inch reach advantage here. I just think there's so much against Covington in this spot here. I think you've got one guy on the downturn, one guy on the upturn here in Buckley. So you got Buckley here, minus 275. I like Buckley to win by knockout. That's at plus 160. I like that number, and I think it's a likely outcome. Next one here we're going to talk about is going to be Billy Quarantillo, minus 162 versus Colby. Oh, God. One more show. I got to get through one more show. Cub Swanson plus 136. Now, this is actually, it's the co-main event. And, these guys are definitely on the end of their career, but a fun fight overall. And I think we have an angle here. Now, when you're looking at it, you know what you're getting with Billy here. He's an aggressor. He's going to look to push forward. He's going to throw volume. He's willingness to just exchange in the pocket, crash the pocket. If he can look to get those takedowns, utilize some of that wrestling, he's going to look to really mix it up there. But really, the volume for him has been really, a path to victory for him is really weaponizing that, really pushing forward that cardio, but the output is always there. He lands 7.36 significant strikes per minute, while Cub lands 4.67. Now, that is great, but also you look at it, the fact that just overall, I still have to give the overall well-rounded striker or fighter, I should say, to Cub. I think Cub really has a lot more still even left in the tank. And you're looking at it here, I think that the first thing here is that I don't think Billy's going to really get any takedowns. I think you're looking at it, 63% takedown defense rate for Cub. On the other side here, Billy, 23% takedown success rate. Not the greatest overall in his accuracy on those takedowns. So I do think this could play out on the feet. Now, on the feet, I think that Cub has just far more better striking, way more technical than the kind of the sloppy striking that you get from from Billy. I don't really like it. I think that he loops hooks. I think that it just isn't as crisp, where you've got really good striking overall for Cub, better combinations. He can look to land the bigger shots. And I think that also that, you've got Billy who does have this willingness to come forward, but he will come forward and just block punches with his face. He takes a lot of shots when he's in there. Everyone lands on this guy when they're striking on the feet. He absorbs nearly 6 significant strikes per minute, while Cub absorbs less than 4. And I think, again, the volume can be a path here for Billy, where if he's going to push that pace, get in front of him, and just not really let Cub breathe at all and just stay in his face, I think that's a possibility. But the other way is that I think that he gets hit way too much for a guy that I think is far more accurate in Cub and really can just be a more versatile striker. And yes, you got Cub, who's 41. You've got Billy, who's 36. But I still think the last 2 fights for Cub wasn't that bad overall. He beat Hakeem Dawodu, had a split decision with Andre Feely, which was a fight that I thought that he actually won. So in this spot here at this plus money, I got to go Cub Swanson to get the job done at plus 136. Next one here we're going to talk about is Manel Kape versus Bruno Silva. And you've got Kape's minus 375. The comeback on Silva plus 295. This is another one here. It should be a fun fight. Again, this is a fight night card. And, end of the year, you never know what you're going to get with the UFC. But this, I think, really is a great card, betting purposes as well as entertainment here. So I think it's a really a solid one. But when you're looking at this fight here, you got Silva, who's on a nice 4-0 run, 3 knockouts, 1 submission. Sounds great and all. But when you're looking at who he beat, I mean, not the greatest. I mean, you got JP Buys, not great. Victor Rodriguez, not too great. Tyson Nam, and then Cody Durden. Now, Cody Durden, good win for him here. And Cody Durden, friend of the show, had him on here. Great guy, strong wrestler, really continues to elevate his striking. My issue here is that he was really landing big time on Silva. I mean, he was, for a guy that, really is predominantly a wrestler, starting to elevate that striking. But on the feet, he was just really landing some great shots, landing heavy on him, hurt Silva a few times early in that fight up until Silva landed the big shot, dropped him, and got the finish. So credit to him on the comeback there. But the fact that Cody Durden is landing, now you're about to face Manel Kape, who is a high-level elite striker, high-level. And I think if Cody can land, I think that Kape lands at a higher clip. And when you're looking at really the way Silva fights, we know it. He's going to come forward. He's going to throw heavy. He's going to look to exchange in the pocket. And the thing about it is that I think if this fight plays out on the feet, Manel has, I think, all the striking advantages if you're talking about just absolutely a striking fight. And I think his footwork and his distance management is so good. He can be a little too risk adverse, and there is a situation where sometimes he can be low volume. That is an issue at certain points, but overall, he's just the far better, sharper striker. And a guy like Bruno who's going to want to come forward, throw big shots. And again, if Cody Durden is landing on you, I just see Manel having no problem at all, working in and out, sticking and moving, landing, moving, getting out of range, utilizing that footwork. He's got fast hands overall. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. I think all of these things really play big time in the favor of Manel. And also the fact that Silva is just very hittable. I mean, just really hittable on the feet. And then also the fact that, Silva can look to push that wrestling. But again, I think that Manel is going to be able to utilize some of his takedown defense rate. He's got 73% on that. And I just think that he can sprawl. He can scramble. He saw Makayev. Makayev was able to get him down, but Makayev is just a guy who has nothing else besides just diving at your legs. And that's not going to happen in this fight. So I think Manel's going to be fine keeping this on the feet. And I do think that low volume pushes this fight into the scorecards here. So this is a spot here where I do believe that Manel gets the job done. He's minus 375. I like Manel to win by points. That is minus 105. I like that spot, and I think it is a likely outcome. And then the last one here we're going to be talking about is going to be Michael Johnson versus Ottman Azaitar. Now you've got MJ minus 225 on the comeback here. We've got Azaitar at plus 162. Now, this one I'm not going to dive into too much, but I will say this is another one I think is going to be a really entertaining fight overall. But this is a spot where I think we need to choose violence in this fight here. Now, Johnson, good boxer, has quick hands, can look to wrestle if he wants to. On the other side, you got Azaitar, who's really going to just move forward, throw big shots, and has a willingness to just stand in the pocket and throw and really not care about anything else. And that goes into the violence theme here that we're looking at. But I do believe this is going to be a phone booth fight. I think they're both going to look to throw. They're both going to look to exchange in the pocket. The fact that they both do have some power and do have some hands, but they both can and have been knocked out. So I think that plays, again, very much into this violence. When you're looking at it, MJ was just, 2 fights ago was absolutely brutally knocked out by Diego Ferreira. Not the greatest look for him. And then even Ottman on their side here, he's coming off back-to-back first-round knockout losses. Again, not great either when you're looking at it. And this just really plays into everything. And also, you got to sprinkle in their age. You've got, Johnson, who's now 38 years old. You've got Ottman, who's not really active at all, who's 34 years old. I just don't, this is both of them. The chin ain't going to get better on either one of these guys. So I do believe that this is a spot where you're going to see a lot of violence early, both these guys swinging. I don't see a positional win here by either one of them by any means. So in this spot here, I think that, it's not widely available yet, but I do like under 2.5 rounds is sitting around minus 155 range. I think that is a great price. I don't see this going to the scorecards. I think there's a lot of violence early here, and either one, as much as, MJ, I think, should get this victory, either one could get knocked out in this fight here. So I am going under 2.5 rounds at minus 155. So there you have it for UFC Tampa, the final event of 2024. And if you want to become a client, link down in the description, got plays up. But before we go, again, I want to thank everybody. I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday season. It's been an absolutely amazing year this year for me, betting wise, clients, everything. It's just been a really, really great year. And I want everybody to enjoy those holidays, have a couple extra drinks, and enjoy it with friends and family. And we will be back mid-January to do it all over again. So see you in 2025, and let's cash.